So what I want to do today is something that I've been doing here recently, and that is stepping away from the WoW rants and, whatnot, and talking and sharing with you guys some real life stories, some things that have happened to me in the real world. Because one of the big things for this channel is these videos, this content, the majority of it is World of Warcraft or guild or raid, leading. But a lot of it can be taken and the life lessons can be brought into management and leadership on a normal job, and vice versa. The things that I'm going to talk about today are things most definitely that you as a raid leader, guild leader, officer can take into your raid and hopefully improve the situation. So what I want to share with you guys today is the story and kind of the trials and tribulations and struggles of one of my newer technicians, his issues with essentially jumping in, butting in to conversations, to discussions, to meetings where he was not welcome, and just the issues that he had and how we fixed it. So it all started, let's say, about 1.5 years ago, where we were hiring for a technician's position within my company and the team that I manage. And we happened upon someone from our tier 1 help desk. Now, this guy we knew was a hotshot. He was a great performer at the help desk. Very well spoken of. A very nice guy. Very gentlemanly, very intelligent. He really knew his job. He really knew what he was doing. And so when we interviewed him, he came across like that. He came across as a hotshot. Now, there are pros and cons behind that, and I'm not talking about how to interview today. Maybe if you guys want, we can do that as a separate video. But yeah, he was one that definitely, he trash talked his team in a very nice, intelligent way, but he said he was the best, that you would be remiss to not give him a chance, and that he would improve everything that there was to improve once he got onto the team. So me and my manager, we talked about it, we discussed it. Given the prospects, the other candidates, we said this one would be the best one for the position. We hired him on, we got him trained up. And that's where we noticed probably one of his biggest character flaws was he thought that he knew everything. He truly thought that he already knew everything there was to know about being a technician, a tier 2 technician under me in my team. Whatever process, whatever procedure that we had written, that we had hashed out, that we'd come up with far before he was ever on the team, he tried to tear into, he bucked up against it. He was one of those that any and everything that you said, he had a better way to do it. And it got to the point where I would be in a discussion, in a meeting, in a conversation with one of my team members, one of his coworkers, or my manager, or my manager's manager, and he would jump in. He would jump in, and while they're asking me questions, he would answer them. Or while I'm trying to assist, he would jump in, and he would speak over top of me. And he did this consistently, to the point where, pulling him aside, which is, and I've talked about this, the preferred method of, dealing with something is let's pull you aside, let's talk about it. Let's not make a big deal. Let's not call you out on it. Let's not embarrass you. Because nobody really wants that. I don't want you to resent me because I called you out in front of your coworkers or your raiders, your fellow raiders, the raiding team, etc. And I pulled him aside and said, hey man, you're doing this. It's not cool. It's really frustrating for me. They're asking me these questions. These are questions you can't answer, processes you're not sure of. And even your coworkers are getting kind of pissed off that, they're coming to me for help and looking at stuff, and they're not asking you, and you're jumping in when your answers aren't always right. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. It's something that I've always worked on, etc., etc., etc. And he would chill out for a week. The next week, he would pick it up right back where he started, continue doing it. And it got to the point where several of my other technicians on my team stopped talking to this guy. He's a nice guy, super intelligent, super good at his job. No complaints other than that. But that was a huge complaint for me and for my team. And so it turned into a written counseling on him, where I said, look, it's getting to the point where you're giving out wrong information because you're talking over those that are senior to you, you're talking over me, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we had the issue kind of squashed until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where he started it up again. Now, mind you, this has been about a year. And he started this up again where over talking me, if the technicians, especially some of our newer guys, now that he's been there about a year and a half, like I said, where these newer guys are asking me questions and he feels that he knows, even though processes and procedures have changed for some of them, he answered. And you could see the frustrated looks on their faces where, I have to go back and go, look, man, that's not right. Here's the process. Here's where we've written it out. Here's the new procedure that we emailed out, a month ago that he must have missed. Or simply he was wrong. And it got to a point where last week I pulled him aside and I said, look, here's the deal. I've bitten my tongue because we've been, busy, because I know you've been working your ass off on a lot of different projects. You've been, performing admirably for me otherwise. But this has got to stop. We've counseled you on it. I've talked to you personally multiple times. We've written you up for it. It's something that is ruining your relationship with the team, with me, with my manager, with my manager's manager. Nobody wants to talk to you or deal with you because of this. And I said, you have to fix this. I'm not saying that you need to not jump in. When asked, you can jump in. But there's a right place and a right time for these types of things. And his response to me was very eye-opening. He said, look, this is something that my wife and her side of the family get very frustrated on. Because apparently me and my side of the family are very bad at doing this. I apologize. I didn't mean to upset you. It's something that my wife actually talked to me about the other day. I'm working on it, and truth be told, he's gotten a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better here recently. And it's been nice where we've been able to have some fruitful discussions as a team. He's asked questions, he's backed off. And what am I getting with this? So if we look at it from a rating point of view, you don't know everything. You don't know the procedure, the strategy that my guild uses. It might be the same as yours. It might be slightly different. It might be crazily different. You don't know, the way we do things. You don't know how we react to certain situations. You just don't know. Or I might get a hair up my ass and, throw caution to the wind, throw the manual out the door, and as I'm raid leading, call a completely wacky call that you aren't sure of, that you are not prepared for. You got to roll with it, and that's the way that it is when it comes to raiding. That's when the situation when it comes to real life is, when you're new in a position and you feel that you are the best at maybe what you're doing and you get promoted or you move to a new team, you have to be humble. You have to be quiet. You have to pick up and understand what's going on. There is a time and a place on my team for an expert, someone that can hopefully one day replace me, right? Somebody that really knows, truly knows, as I've made it my life's goal in this company, to know every process, every procedure, every update, any discussion, anything that's going on. That's what I do for my company. And it's worked out pretty damn well so far. But the fact is that things end and I'll hopefully move on, move up, move away, and somebody needs to replace me. And it could be this guy. It could be when your guild leader steps down because of real life, or, he's tired or burnt out, or, an officer does the same, that you can jump in. But when you give the impression to your raiders, to your fellow co-workers, to your, employer or manager or team leader, supervisor, officer, raid leader, guild leader, that you know everything, they don't know shit, and that you're not going to listen, if you can't take feedback, man, I'm not interested in having you on the team. Nobody's going to be interested in bringing you to the raid. Nobody's going to ask you your input when it comes to raid strategies and guild processes and discussions, because what's the point? You're going to let us know anyways. Anything that we pick is going to be wrong because you know best, right? So that's something that I want you guys to keep in mind as you're going out through life. Raid leading, guild leading, raiding, etc. Keep that in mind. With that being said, you guys know the deal. If you like it, hit that like button. If you didn't like it, go ahead and hit that dislike button. Till next time, guys, I'll see you.